Welcome to the rules video for Manipulate. Manipulate is a competitive and darkly humorous board game for 3 to 6 players set in modern day London. Players choose from a number of characters and make deals, double cross and outmaneuver each other as they seek to build their shady business empire in the city. Their goal is to be the most powerful at the end of the game. Inside the box, we've got a variety of components. There's a board, coins, rulebook, venture, favour and skeleton cards, 6 different character bios accompanied by power counters and super favours, a turn tracker, a dice and a reversible turn guide that shows you the turn phase order as well as extra power you get from holding certain ventures aligned to your character. Make sure to give the ventures, favours and skeletons a really good shuffle before you start to play. To set up the game, each player needs to either choose or be dealt one of the characters and accompanying power counters and super favours. To explain the rules, I'm going to set up 2 character positions and we'll put the others to the side. Normally, when you're playing a game, you would pick one of the 2 different super favours. But if it's your first game, we'd recommend keeping both so that you have a bit more optionality. Each player gets a turn guide, 300k, 3 ventures, 3 favours, and a skeleton. You can always look at all of your own cards, but you might want to keep them secret from other players. We'll also put the turn tracker on turn 1, and we'll put 1 of each of the power counters on 0 power. To quickly walk through the extra cards, ventures are how you typically gain most of your power. They'll normally cost some money to set up, some are free. They'll give you power while you hold them, and they'll give you income every turn after they've been set up. Some of the ventures align to a specific character, and this means that you'll get bonus power at the end of the game in line with the power in your turn guide. Some ventures are also part of a set, like the breweries. If you own the complete set at the end of the game, these will get you 2 bonus power per card in the set. Any venture can be set up by any player. Favours allow you to attack other players or give yourself a boost. For example, Tax Haven lets you double your income on salary, ventures and favours with an M, such as expense fraud, which allows you to get 200k from the government coffers. If you'd played Tax Haven the turn before, this would mean that you'd get 400k instead. However, expense fraud is illegal, denoted by the skeleton at the top. If you play this card, you need to pick up an additional skeleton in your closet. There's a real variety of different favours, from stealing your opponent's business to burning something down. Favours with a black header can only be played on your turn. If they have a red header, they'll enable you to block the favours of another player, and you can play them at any time. Some favours even enable you to uncover an opponent's skeletons. Everyone starts with a skeleton. In your hand, they don't cause you any damage and will just remain hidden. But if they're uncovered, they can cause you to lose cash, power, or a combination of the 2. There's also some skeletons with special effects. Now we'll go through a sample turn. To start with, we have the income phase, where every turn you'll collect an additional 100k from the bank as salary. In subsequent turns, you'll also normally collect extra income from your ventures. In the action phase, you can make deals with other players, set up ventures, and play favours. We'll start by showing you how to set up ventures. We have 3 ventures here. Black gold is free, helpfully, and it'll get us quite a lot of income next turn, so we'll definitely set that one up. It's also part of a set, so if I collect those later, I might get some bonus power. Slander FM and Think Fast, also pretty good in terms of power, not quite as much income, but Slander FM aligns to my character, so that's a good card to have as it'll get me bonus power at the end of the game. We'll set all three of these up and we'll pay the bank 200k. We also need to adjust our power, so we'll move one of our counters to 5 and the other to 10 for a total of 15 power. You can set up as many ventures as you can afford and play as many favours as you like, so let's take a look at what favours we have so far. At the moment, we don't need to block anything, so we can keep that. It's a good one to have to hand. No one else really has any power at the moment, so there's not much point in uncovering a skeleton. We'll save that until later rounds. But actually, it might be handy to have a bit more cash. So, if we play Expense Fraud, we can get an additional 200k, but it does mean we pick up an extra skeleton. So we'll put that in a discard pile, we'll pick up another skeleton, and then now we can think about deals. So, you can make any deal you like, except for trading skeletons, super favours, and you can't trade power directly because it comes with cards. For example, I might want to trade Think Fast to my competitor. Now it's already set up. If I transferred that to them, I would go down 6 power and they would go up 6. We'll move that back. You could also trade favours or ventures from your hand and they'll transfer to your opponent's hand. You can have as many cards in your hand as you like. Next in the action phase, once we've set up as many ventures as we want, played our favours, made some deals, we can also burn cards. This might be useful if you've got some expensive ventures which you can't afford and you want to free up your hand for other cards. You can burn up to 2 of your ventures and favours. So 2 ventures or 2 favours or 1 of each. To end your turn, you top up your venture cards and favour cards to 3. So we'll get 3 new ventures and a single new favour. We'll skip through my opponent's turn and they've set up a few ventures of their own, but actually they've overstretched themselves and they don't have any cash. In the game, you can be made bankrupt through the use of a favour. This card, for example, Influencer, would cause my opponent to lose 50k to the bank. If I was to play this against them, they're at risk of going bankrupt. If they can't make a deal with another player to get some extra cash, they would lose 20 power and collect 200k from the bank to ensure that people don't get made bankrupt multiple times. Normally, it's easy enough to negotiate your way out. And actually what I could have done would have been to make a deal with that player and maybe say, give me one of the ventures from your hand. We'll skip ahead to the final round where there are a couple of different rule changes. In the final round, favours can be played at any time, and after your turn, you don't restock any cards. So for example, it could be my opponent's turn and I would play my super favour, which normally can only be played in your turn. If I played Follower Steal, I would go up 10 power and they would go down 10 power. Once the dust has settled and everyone has played their final cards, it's time to count up the final power. So if I was counting up my power, I would count 1, 2 additional ventures that align to my character. So I'd go up 2 power. I'd also count power from cash. So in this case, I have 1200, I'd go up an additional 12 power. If you're shrewd enough to lap the board, you'd just flip your counter on its side, and that would then be 110 rather than just 100. Hope you enjoyed playing. Thanks for watching.